Good evening. 23rd of October 2023. Uh, some people think that my English is a sort of a starter degree. I'm trying to talk as slow as possible without with many accents. I'm just trying to be more understood by someone who learns English as a second language. So that's why I'm a good imitator. So I imitate people's voices. And if I'm talking to someone who does not speak the language fluently, I suddenly talk like him. I slow down so that I can express and pass my message. So if I'm talking to an American, it's a different style of talking. And now also you should know 99% of these videos I'm making are just without looking at any writing or anywhere. Just, uh, I'm just talking about them and sometimes giving you references. So, okay, let's start with the first topic. These are real estate, home-related real estate topics. There is a term in the US who are familiar with the real estate. It's BRRRR. It's not freezing. In Turkey, when we freeze, we say BRRRR. It's cold, It's not. BRRRR is 4 hours or 3 hours. It can be written. Are acronyms for certain words in English for some different real estate business. Okay, B means buy, first, and I'll go by one, also naming each word. B is for buy. What do? You buy a house, but that's not as easy as it looks because you should buy a house that fits your criteria. Because in this case, we are trying to buy a house which is not perfect house. We wanted to buy it at a lower price, and we think that if we add some value to it, like change a couple of items, not big investment, like not tearing down the whole house, and just maybe painting, maybe checking few things which are the first priority. It's kitchens for the prospects, women prospects. First look at the kitchen, okay, then the bathrooms, okay. So kitchen is number one priority. If you want to redo a house to resell, to sell again, kitchen is number one. Kitchen cabinets, kitchen countertop is number one priority. So while mentioning this house should be, let's say you bought a house for 1.5 million and you want to spend 200,000 TL. I'm talking now Turkish terms. Or you can buy a house for $200,000 and you want to spend $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 on the house. And then what do? You don't sell this house. This is the difference between house flipping and BRRR. What house flipping is, you do the same. You buy a house which needs lots of repair. You can watch these in the Turkish TV as well. There are many new series where people buy houses, decorate them, repair them, and they come up with unexpected expenses. And then they put the house on resale. So if they bought for $250 and they spent $50,000, so it's $300,000, they expect to sell it for a profit, let's say $425. Okay, so they check the area. They say now the house looks $425. Then they stage the house. Bring the home stagers in, make an open house, and then start selling the house. So that's home flipping, where there is lots of repairs involved. Whereas in BRRR, you buy the property, you repair it, but not huge repairs. And because if you do, flipping is within a very short time. You must not keep the house too long. You have to flip it like within 100, 120 days, put it on resale again. And it's an active business. home building business, only just partial home building, home repair, ceilings, roofs, gardens. It's a big project. It's a construction project. But house flipping is not like that. The buy rent, BRRR. Well, what is BRRR now? Because I have to explain the flipping so you can tell the difference. Flipping also comes from a term like if you flip a coin, in the air, then say faces, or then that's flipping. So you are flipping the houses. In Turkish we have takla attırıyoruz, and the houses, just flipping. So first you buy the perfect house, which you think with minor repairs like painting, changing few items, faucets, things like that, painting the kitchen cabinets, or just replacing the doors of the cabinets, or depending on how far you want to go. But you must be careful. You should not go too good, but then okay, the house will look beautiful, but it's not worth the expense that you are making, because you are not doing this for your own decorational love. You're doing it to make profit from it. Then what you do this is mostly done in the United States. You rent the house. That's the second R. Buy, repair, rent. Okay, then you rent the house. Why do you rent the house? Because if it was flipping, you wouldn't rent the house. You would quickly go to sell. When you rent the house, you are ready to wait a couple of years, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. It's up to you. Then the renter helps you with the payments of the mortgage. You took a mortgage, okay, a mortgage credit, and renter helps you. Just like a regular mortgage house buying, but a house which requires some repairs, okay, and gains value at that repair. Then after you rent it out, this is not quite easy in Turkey. In US, it's easy. Now you bought the house for $200,000. You spent $20,000 on it. It's $220,000 it costs you with the mortgage and down payment, of course. You didn't pay it all. You just spent probably around $50,000, $60,000. The down payment for the house, like 20%, and then another 10, 20,000 for the minor repairs. And then, just like you are renting the house, you just rent the house. After a couple of years pass, 1, 2, 3, it depends. Then what you do, you refinance the house. What is refinancing? You call the bank which gave you the mortgage and ask them, okay, I bought this house for 2,200, so that's why you gave me the financing, the mortgage. Now evaluate this house again. So the expert comes and evaluates the house and says this house is worth $350,000 because it's replenished and some years passed. So this time you say, okay, I want the house price increase to 350. I want some loan. Again, increase the loan on this house, further, because this house is cost 350,000. So I want to owe you 300,000 instead of 200. I'll keep renting it, but give me some more money. So they give you like $40,000-$50,000 from the bank because the house is now worth more as a collateral. So what do? You go buy another house, which is the third R is refinance, yapılandırma, refinance in Turkish. And it's not common in Turkey. You cannot refinance easily because the rates are. Turkey is a different story. It's a very high inflation. There are huge benefits of buying a house in Turkey and huge downturns if you want to grow it as a business. Okay, but if you want to make big money quickly, instead of waiting 20, 30 years for mortgage payment, in Turkey in 3-4 years the house payments are complete. Although you take 10-year mortgage. Now the house can easily pay itself because due to huge inflation, the money you owe to the bank suddenly becomes peanuts, and you can close it off if you like to, So it's much quicker owning the house in Turkey. But you cannot get this type of refinancing from the house in that short terms. But you can get credit against your, let's say you have a paid house, all paid. You can go to the bank in Turkey, but the longest credit they will give you is 36 months. Otherwise, they'll give you like 50,000, 100,000 TL only as a line of credit. But if you say, I'm going to give my house as a collateral and I'll pay it in 36 months, if interests are good, interest rates are good, of course, you say, I want 1 million. Yeah, okay. And they also ask you how you're going to pay this million. They don't, because they don't accept, they accept your house as a collateral. They don't accept your payments from the house because they are not in real estate business. Banks want to know within 36 months how you are going to pay, let's say 1 million and its interest monthly, let's say in 36 months, 20,000 TL. So you have to show them you are making 20,000 TL. You can add the rent contract to your income. So if your income is not enough, you can say the house is rented for 20,000 TL. So plus my income, that's how I'm going to pay the 36 months. So it's not just enough to show a collateral. You must show how you're going to pay the installments. That's important. That's important in mortgage as well. You say, I'm giving you my house as a collateral. Well, so what? How are you going to pay the monthly fees? Show us, show us your payroll. Or if you're a businessman, show us your records, tax records, that you are making so much money to pay us. That's the way you get a mortgage as well. You cannot just get a mortgage, even if you're a millionaire having many houses. If you can't show the bank that you are making monthly gains, they won't give you credit, okay? House credit. You can get credit card credit, but no mortgage credit. And finally, the last R is repeat. Repeat. Do it again. Do it again. Copy. Copy paste. Copy paste. Okay. This is so let's understand what we are doing. We are buying a house just like a regular mortgage house that requires a bit of repair, painting, this and that, so that you can rent it out at a good price. Because if you rent it out as it is, maybe the guy will say, I'll give you 6,000. This house is very old looking. But if you clean it up, do things, then you say this house is 10,000, 12,000 TL per month. Okay, that's why they paint and repair, and so that the house can retrieve much more rent than as it is. So I guess you all understand BRRR strategy. You buy, renovate, rent out, wait some time, and maybe rest. There should be a fifth R, rest for a while, some years, and then maybe 2 years, 3 years. In Turkey, if you wait 5 years, there is zero taxes on the house you sold. If you own a house, if you wait 5 years, no matter how much money you make, there will be no income tax. There will be no income tax. It's not like that in states. If you sell a house, if you don't buy a house within 3 years, in most cases I'm saying, within 3 months, then you have to pay the income taxes to the government. If you keep buying, you can defer your tax paying to government for ages. Maybe your children will pay for it. That's how Robert Kiyosaki is doing, just flipping, not flipping the houses, just buying, selling, buying, buying and more. So that if you sell something to buy 2 houses, if you sell 1 house to buy 3 houses, then of course income tax will be say compulsory for you. But if you are not, if you're doing it in Turkey, if you wait 5 years, there will be no income tax. If you do it earlier, like within 3rd year, 2nd year in Turkey, then you will only pay taxes on with some deductions, like the mortgage interest expenses for that period, you will drop from your gains. Buying and selling taxes you paid, you can drop from your profit. And inflation, they adjust inflation every year at the 1st of January. You can deduct that by month. It's a monthly calculated deduction. So you will pay some taxes if you made a profit in between. But if you wait 5 years, as I said, no income tax. It's just totally exempt. But if you do this like as a business, like home flipping, you sell 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. It's same for like car sales in Turkey. If you do it more than 3 times a year, then they say, brother, you are in business. You are not a person just selling, buying cars, So they ask you to keep records and books. So if you're doing it for houses, you shouldn't do more than 1 a year, okay? Otherwise, they may ask you to become a businessman because you are doing this as a business. But if you sell it every 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, and normally real estate is a long-term investment. And if you're just going to flip in Turkey, it may be better not to buy the house, maybe just make an agreement with the homeowner that you have the right to sell his house, and pay him, do the expenses, and then do the repairs and put it on sale. That may be better if you do it at a notary public, some agreement, and have it recorded in the title of the house at the tapu, okay? So that may be a better idea. Otherwise, each time you pay taxes, buying, selling taxes, so you don't have to do that. So I explained, I'm just trying to increase your real estate vocabulary. So what is house flipping? What does BRRR mean? So, okay, now you know what they are. The second thing is, of course, how do you make money? These are not passive investments. At least in the beginning, they are not. Like when we buy a house just for renting and to pay the mortgages, it's not as passive as like just buying a mutual fund from Tefas, because you just buy it on from your computer. Don't even look at it for 2 years if you like. You still make money. But house is not completely passive income. You must do these repairs, have it done. Then you should rent it out. Renting out is another experience, because you must decide on people who you're going to rent to will definitely make the payments. So just getting some money from them as a deposit is not enough, because deposits you cannot use against rents not paid. They are just for repairs. But what best you can do before you rent it out, ask the guy, I want to see your, bring me the report or give me a right to see your report of payment. It's called Findex in Turkey. Your Findex number record, that's where banks look when they give you a loan. That's where they check whether your points are, in US it's different. It's a FICO score, FICO. In Turkey, it's a Findex. The company is Findex, which traces your payments, your legal problems, your non-payments. And so you have a point between, in Turkey, 1900 is the best number you can get. And all the way it goes down. So if you are like low, they will not give you credit. If you are in 500, 600, no way you can get a credit. So if somebody has a bad record in the history, in his past history, payment history, when you ask him, okay, I will ask, you can rent the house, but I want your records, So if the guy is not sure about his record, what kind of a homeowner you are? Good, don't rent it to him anyway. So it will cause you a lot of headache, okay? So if somebody says, yeah, no problem, let me give it to you, fine, you are 90% safe in payments, okay, of the rent, because the guy is not bad to anyone. Why should he be willingly do some crookery for you as a homeowner. So he won't, because it will cause him problems. You have a legal agreement to rent the house anyway. But then in Turkey, you spend a year or two just to get the renter out of the house, even if he's delaying and not paying his rental fees. So even if you have a right that I'm going to empty the house, at any time the owner wishes, still apply, go to the trials, because Turkish laws protect extremely the renters, but it looks like a protection. It's something terrible, because now everybody, because this happened in the last few years, 1 or 2 years, everybody who wants to be a homeowner to rent it out, they are avoiding. They are not buying houses anymore. Okay. So they are buying houses, they are investing, they are buying summer houses. Okay. So I said, I won't rent it out. I'll just go there, enjoy 15, 20 days. Even if I rent it, it's a summer location. So a person, even I ask him to live there. So I make a 3 month rental agreement with him. Then he takes off. Because nowadays, a recent law is passing in Turkish parliament, making it almost like impossible, hard, like you're getting a small hotel approval for a Airbnb house. So it's finished almost, unless you want to do it professionally, like a hotel manager. Okay. So once a year, you cannot rent your house more than 4 times if you don't have this and that. So these are terrible laws. I tell you, the terrible is not for the homeowner. As I said, homeowner is a guy who has a lot of money. He wants to invest. He can go invest in summer houses, or he can just leave the country, take his money to United States, to Bosnia, Herzegovina, or different countries. They are just willing, come and invest in my country. Money will fly, go away, and you will have a harder and more difficult problem for renters finding rental houses. Okay, because you're scaring away the capital. If you scare the capital, where are you going to find the money to build these houses? So it may be looking popular for votes, but it's a terrible agreement. I tell you, it's terrible in 3-4 years, because Turkey just alone needs 200,000 houses every year, because population is going up 600,000 every year. So for 3 person, if I count one house, this is on top of all the houses that were torn down during earthquakes, or renovation houses. These are just additional houses I'm talking about. Same in US. Now there is about 1.5 million additional houses are needed in the US. Okay, and they are not being built. So I know the rental is another problem in the US, but they are not discouraging home buyers. But the problem there is that most of the houses are bought on mortgage. It's opposite in Turkey. Only 1/10 of houses are now bought on mortgage. In the States, 2/3, like 66% of houses are bought on mortgage. So when mortgage interest rates go up to so much, to 8 points, from 2.5, 3 points, people are staying away from getting a loan. Okay, and monthly payments are very high, at least for a couple of years, because in the States, another advantage which you don't have in Turkey, like I said, refinance. Let's say in 2 years time, you took a 30-year or 15-year mortgage. It's possible. I know there is even 40-year mortgage with just 1% down payment in Redfin. So, but your monthly payments, there's to be dispersed to 40 years, so that the rent covers the house installment payments. But in Turkey, there is no refinancing, not easy refinancing, no recalculating the price and then getting higher. Maybe you can, even if you close down make the total payment of your house, let's say it's all yours now. There was only 100,000, 50,000 left, from the old mortgage. If I go and ask for me, for my wife, for my son, I want to have a mortgage for my house. It's not accepted in Turkey. You cannot get a mortgage to your own house, or your family members cannot get your house on agreement. So mortgage situation is much more difficult in Turkey compared to the US. So that's why in the USA, people who are 20, 25, 30 years old just BRRR and make 10, 15 houses in very short time. In 5 years, 10 years time, they have more than 10 houses. If you pass 10 houses in the US, again, you become a business person. You must apply for a business license. Up to 10 houses is individual. So now this part I explained as well. I'm not just explaining technical and profit part, also legal parts, as you see. Okay, now the last portion of the video is the 25th minute. I just checked how much money is made, for example, owning gold. Let's say you owned gold and you had some money collected there, either down payment or the total home price. This year, gold has made, in US dollar terms, 20%, exactly 19.97. 20% US dollar, your US dollar value increase. Well, the home prices increase, not 20%. In some areas, they decrease. So what you can do just by selling your gold at this time, or maybe there will be more opportunity depending on the next 2-3 months. You know, the Middle East is very problematic right now, and that's putting pressure on gold. But assume that you decided to sell your gold and buy the house now. In a way, the house is lower 15% in some areas, plus you made 20% on your gold. It's not, but it is like buying the house 30% cheaper. Okay. So do you care about the interest rates in states? 8%. Not as long as you can pay the monthly installments, because 2 years, 3 years down the road, if interest rates come down, you just go to the bank. I want to refinance it with the new 3%. Fine. And you are so good, because when interest rates come down to 2 or 3%, house prices, because there will be so much request to buy houses, your $300,000 house you bought now will be worth suddenly $400,000, because everybody wants to buy the houses in the area. So this is a almost no lose situation. No lose situation. Just like for the last part, I like to talk about the U.S. government bonds. Also, is for today. It's a daily thing. You know, the interest rates on U.S. government bonds are going extremely high and past 5% annual. So this I mentioned in this morning's video. If you buy some government bonds at 5%, what if they increase to 6%? You lose money, just like the banks that went bankrupt, because they wouldn't normally get bankrupt. If they can wait till the end of the expiry of the bonds, they will get their 2% plus the, let's say, $100,000 they have. Okay, but their depositors are demanding their cash, so they don't have cash. They have to sell them at a loss, 40-50%, just to pay the depositors money at the bank. That's why the banks are in trouble. But as a person, if you buy a 5% government bond, let's say for 100,000, every year giving you $5,000, okay, this is better. Maybe this is better than stock exchange. Why? Because it's guaranteed, first, by government. Second, assuming what the Fed became successful in 2 years, reduce the rates to 2%, okay, of the government bonds. Then you have a 5% giving bonds, which are very valuable this time. So instead of $100, you can sell them, if you wish, for $130, because they are valuable. They are giving very high interest rate. So in no case, if you can wait for the expiry of a 5-year, 7-year, 10-year bond, okay, because you cannot do this on a month-based bonds, because there will not be enough time to reduce it to 2%. But if you want to keep it for 7 years, above 10 years maybe, I'm just giving you the idea, not the advice. I'm just showing you where the profits could be. Then instead of going to making the money in the stock exchange, you can make from your bonds value maybe 20, 15, 20%. Okay, so that's why it's not a big deal if you invest 60% in the Dow Jones and indices and 40% in government bonds. As I said, they are sellable daily and they get valuable if interest rates come down. If, as I said, if you wait long enough for the expiry, you get total fund. You don't have to sell it at the half price. That's only for sellers that have to sell on discount on that day, like the banks. Okay, so it's been 31 minutes, very long video. I hope this video helps all investors, teaching some new terms and some new ideas. Best regards to all. See you again, maybe tomorrow night.